everyone, and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. I've tried to come to you with a variety of different kinds of things that I've cooked, from vegetable dishes to breakfast items, to vegetables, to meats, and some desserts. Well, today I do have a dessert that I'd like to share with you. It's called Fudge Marble Walnut Pound Cake. And if you remember the theme of my show, I really try to focus on three things: making things that are delicious, healthy, and simple. And so I'm going to take a very simple dish. I'm going to add some nuts to it. I'm going to use egg whites instead of, let's say, full eggs, so that we can look at how we can make something healthy, but also taste good, right? And I'm always conscious of trying to reduce the amount of sugar I use in something, pairing up a carb with a protein to help balance the two. So this is just a really delicious, simple dish. And one little thing that I want to kind of school you guys on is around this whole idea behind homemade. Sometimes I'll bring in a dessert, a cake or something, and someone will say, is it homemade? Is it homemade? If I made it at home, it's homemade. Now, part of what they're really asking me is, was it made from scratch? And why we have this idea about something to be good and delicious is got to be from scratch. The truth of the matter is, if you use a box version of a cake, and what I do is what I call doctor cake mixes, is that the cake mix just has everything packaged for you. So you don't have to have extra baking powder or salt or the vanilla and all of those things. You're adding the flour, adding the sugar. Sure, you can buy all those things separate, but hey, what's wrong with using a box and then as I said, doctor it? So this is a really simple dish, dessert that I'm going to make, and I'm actually bringing it to my folks at church tomorrow, so they'll be happy about it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with, I like Duncan Hines, it's just me personally, and this is actually their Fudge Marble cake mix. So we're going to just go on and empty that into the bowl, like so, the mixing bowl. And from there, we're also going to add, this is actually a box of vanilla pudding. So whatever your favorite version or brand, just one small box of vanilla pudding. Next, what we're going to add are eggs. So the recipe, when you do a box or whatever, it may call for 3 eggs or 4 eggs. You want to have at least 4 eggs. Just for a pound cake, it makes the consistency a little thicker. But what I did, instead of putting in 4 eggs, I put in 2 eggs and I put in 2 egg whites, okay, in addition. So we're going to pour that in there like so, and I'm going to hold this bowl aside because we're going to need it a little later. You're going to use just 1/3 of a cup, and this is canola oil, not vegetable oil. Canola oil is better for you. And then we just have 1 cup of water. So I'm going to pour this in. And then I'm going to turn on one of my favorite machines. I'm sure many of you have a KitchenAid at home. This is going to be a little loud, so we're going to just kind of get it started here. And then what I'm going to do once this mixes up really nicely is that I've chopped up some walnuts. And so this is really about, I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup of walnuts, and you can add more or less depending upon what you prefer. So while this is mixing, we're going to get it going really nicely, and then we're going to add the walnuts. I've kept my egg bowl on the side for a moment because I'm going to actually be pouring a cup of the mix. I'm going to put it in the bowl because what comes in the package with the Fudge Marble cake mix is cocoa. Here's your fudge. So I'm going to go in and put that actually in this bowl. And then when I get the rest of the mix ready, I'm going to take a cup of it and pour it in there. We're just going to put this aside. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment because it's going to get really loud. I need to turn it up just a little bit. So I'm going to pause it just so I can make sure I get all of the flour products from the side. And I've already, of course, preheated the oven to 350. And then what I'm going to do, and I've also already greased my loaf pans. And I typically like using kind of the pan cooking spray. It's pretty easy. Okay, let's go back with this. Okay. You want to make sure the clumpy little lumps or clumps are nicely mixed, okay? I'm going to tell you, one of my secrets to making moist cake is I always go how many ever eggs they tell me. I usually go one less, or I use the egg white. That just makes things a little moist. When you add more liquids to something, it makes it much thicker. And even though this is pound cake and it's supposed to be a little thick, I'm still gonna have one less. So let's let that mix for a minute. Okay. I don't want to try to talk over this because I know you're not going to be able to hear me. All right, so we're just trying to just get it mixed up there a little bit. So now all you're going to do is you're going to, you know, kind of clear this out a little bit. Well, whatever mixer, hand mixer, whatever, or you do it really by hand, up to you. Just going to put this aside. And then I'm going to pour, I'm going to basically pour a cup of this into my cup over here that I actually use with for my water. So I'm going to pour in a cup. You're probably saying, why is she pouring that in there? I'm pouring it in here because that's what's going to make the fudge part, okay? The marble part. All right, now I have 2 small loaf pans that I'm going to use. So let me just put this aside. Let me bring these here. And I'm just gonna mix, split the batter between the 2, okay? So just gonna kind of go between the 2. Try to guess as best as I can. And let me tell you, it may not seem like, oh boy, that's not a lot. Trust me, it will rise and it'll be more than enough, okay? So we're going to get this really well. We don't want to waste anything. My husband is good. Sometimes I'm ready to throw something else, like it's been in the refrigerator too long. No, let's not waste it. And I appreciate that about him. Okay. All right, so we've got that going. I'm going to just put this aside here. And now I'm going to mix. And actually what I'll do is just pour this in here. It'll make it even a little easier to scoop out. So I'm going to just mix the chocolate, the fudge, the cocoa, with 1 cup of batter. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm scraping it all out. Got it good. Okay. That cocoa smells so good. And hey, if you want to use your own, by all means. So all you're going to do now is you're going to mix this together. This is making your chocolate. And this is what's going to give you the swirl. Once we get the chocolate mixed together, then I'm going to actually split this between the 2. And I'm going to pour it in the middle and then just kind of move this around a little bit, okay? So we're going to put a 1/2 cup in one and 1/2 cup in another, and this will be great. This gives it your marbly thing, but I like it because it's, you know, kind of, you got some chocolate going on, and chocolate is good for you, particularly dark chocolate, so remember that. All right, so we're going to just take 1/2 of this and put it, I'm just doing like a straight line, and if you can't see it, I'll actually show you what I'm doing. I'll show you how it looks. So I'm just doing a straight line of this mixture here. Put some more, I have quite a bit. So we're going to try to spread it nice and evenly between the two. And this is awesome. This is delicious. My husband took this to one of his men's Bible study groups, and they thought it was a hit, so I think you will too. Okay, so all you're doing now that you have it in here, and again, this is really kind of how it looks, you're just going to just move it around like so. Just whatever kind of design you want to use. You can use a straight knife, you could do straight lines. You're just mixing it basically throughout the cake there, okay? And you've got your walnuts in there, all good stuff. So you do want to try to get it, you know, mix it around pretty well, because you don't want the marble just to be on top either, okay? So however you want to do it, make it fancy looking. I just kind of mix it through like so, okay? And we are ready to go, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna put these in the oven at 350 degrees, and I'll come back, show you the end results, but basically this is kind of how they look. It's about, you know, almost 3/4 of the way full. So let me put it in the oven, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look once it's done. Hi everybody, we're back, and I had the pound cakes in the oven for 45 minutes. And again, I always tell you guys, it's kind of tricky. That works for my oven, 350 degrees, 45 minutes. Maybe yours, you know, may take a couple more minutes. You can always test it. You know, for me, I usually test the firmness of it, and I can just tell by firmness that it's ready, it's done. The other thing is you can take a toothpick. If the ends of the top up part doesn't seem as though it's you know, done as well, you can just take a toothpick in and see if there's something that is left on the toothpick. So I've actually even taken one out of container. You can see these are just, I mean, they're beautiful. They're amazing. And what a nice little treat to have maybe with your breakfast, you know, with some coffee. It is delicious with coffee. We have had it. So one will stay home and one will go with us to our friends. So I'm going to go on and slice it. It's still very warm, so you know, I'm not going to be able to do too much, but I at least want you to be able to see kind of the inside of it. And notice, as I mentioned, that the texture is going to be a little thicker. So I'm going to go in and slice 2 pieces, so it'll give us, so we've got the end there, and then you can also kind of see how the fudge looks. I want you to see that as well. Okay, so these are 2 wonderful pieces. I'll show you here how it turned out. Just delicious. I'm going to test it out for you. It will be my pleasure to do that. But this is how the loaf actually looks, you know, so totally delicious. And again, the nice thing about this is that we include walnuts, so that helps to cut, you know, the carb. Remember, we use egg whites, just 2 eggs, and then 2 egg whites, canola oil versus vegetable oil, all those nice things to help, you know, make it great. So let me go on and just try a piece here, and I'll cut the other piece for Curtis. Only thing I'm missing is some coffee. That's delicious. That's delicious. So I hope you enjoy this little treat. Simple, delicious, healthy. As always, please share, 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 share. Join me again for an upcoming episode. Bye-bye.